Science fiction has long served as a mirror to society, reflecting anxieties, ambitions, and ethical dilemmas through imagined futures. Some films, however, pushed boundaries further than audiences were prepared to accept. These narratives combined action with concepts that were uncomfortable, unsettling, or disturbingly plausible. This video examines 15 action-driven sci-fi movies that at the time of release felt too extreme for viewers, yet today reveal insights that resonate more strongly than ever. The films included explore scenarios of deception, control, and technological dominance. They depict humans confronting systems of power that manipulate perception, impose moral compromises, or test the limits of survival. Each story is grounded in a context that feels credible, blending suspenseful action with ethical reflection. By focusing on these elements, the list highlights how sci-fi can anticipate societal and technological developments, often warning of dangers before they fully materialize. We exclude animation superhero stories and episodic television series to maintain a focus on grounded, cinematic storytelling that integrates thrilling sequences with social or ethical commentary. The selected films illustrate a recurring theme. Extreme circumstances reveal the fragile balance between human choice and systemic control. From futuristic warfare to virtual realities and alien encounters, each narrative demonstrates the consequences of power, technological innovation, and moral decision-making. As we progress through this countdown, consider how narratives once deemed implausible now feel prophetic. How do these imagined extremes inform our understanding of human behavior, ethics, and society's relationship with technology? This examination does not only entertain, but encourages reflection on the forces shaping our world. By revisiting these films, we gain perspective on how speculative fiction can illuminate enduring challenges and provoke questions about control, responsibility, and resilience. 1. Pitch Black, 2000. Pitch Black combines survival thriller and speculative sci-fi, earning its place for examining human behavior under extreme conditions. Its inclusion highlights the film's credible tension, ethical challenges, and exploration of resilience in the face of life-threatening circumstances. A group of crash survivors is stranded on a barren planet where nocturnal predators emerge during the long night. They must navigate environmental hazards, interpersonal conflict, and the constant threat of extinction. Tension escalates through resource scarcity, predatory attacks, and difficult ethical decisions, blending visceral action with psychological complexity. The core value of Pitch Black lies in its analysis of survival, leadership, and moral choice. It examines how fear, cooperation, and instinct influence human behavior when societal norms collapse. Cinematic techniques, including lighting, camera angles, and pacing, enhance suspense and emphasize ethical and psychological themes. The film presents a clear, direct narrative that balances action and reflection. Pitch Black remains relevant as a study of human decision-making and resilience under extreme conditions. Its lasting appeal comes from integrating thrilling action with exploration of moral and social dynamics. 2. Existence 99. Existence I explores the blurred line between game and reality, earning its place for its prescient depiction of immersive technology and identity manipulation. The film presents action and suspense, while highlighting ethical dilemmas associated with controlling perception and consciousness. A game designer develops an organic virtual reality system. She faces assassins and conspirators attempting to exploit her invention. As she navigates a shifting world of games and reality, the boundary between what is real and simulated becomes uncertain. Tension builds through escalating stakes, moral conflicts, and unpredictable environments, maintaining engagement and narrative clarity. At its core, Existence Z examines autonomy, ethics, and the consequences of immersive technology. It questions the manipulation of perception and the responsibilities of creators. Stylistic elements, including kinetic cinematography and inventive visual design, reinforce the narrative's clarity and suspense. The film presents complex technological ideas in a direct, accessible way, emphasizing logical cause and effect over metaphor or embellishment. Decades later, Existence continues to resonate for its insights into identity, ethical responsibility, and technological influence. Its combination of action and focused commentary ensures enduring relevance. 3. The 13th Floor, 1999. The 13th Floor examines virtual reality and the nature of existence. Its inclusion is based on its exploration of simulated worlds and the ethical questions surrounding them. The film presents a scenario that challenges perceptions of reality, combining suspense and intellectual engagement while remaining action-driven. A computer scientist discovers that his virtual simulation contains sentient beings and that reality itself may be a construct. As he investigates anomalies, he confronts threats in both the simulated and real worlds. Tension is maintained through escalating discoveries, suspenseful sequences, and the protagonist's efforts to navigate layered realities, keeping viewers engaged while exploring philosophical questions. The core value of the film lies in its analysis of identity, free will, and ethical responsibility. It examines the consequences of creating conscious entities and questions the boundaries between reality and simulation. Stylistic choices, including visual cues, pacing, and framing, enhance the narrative's clarity and support thematic focus by presenting complex ideas through direct storytelling. The film balances action with reflection. The 13th Floor remains relevant as a reflection on technological ethics and the fragility of perceived reality. Its lasting impact lies in blending suspense with concise exploration of existential questions. 4. Soldier, 1998. Soldier presents a dystopian view of militarized society and human enhancement. Its inclusion is justified by its depiction of soldiers engineered for efficiency in combat, addressing the ethical and societal implications of treating humans as tools. The narrative combines action with ethical reflection, making it both intense and thoughtful. A highly trained soldier is deemed obsolete and discarded by his superiors. Stranded on a hostile planet, he faces environmental hazards and social challenges while encountering marginalized groups that test his programmed instincts. Tension arises from action sequences, survival challenges, and ethical dilemmas, maintaining engagement while exploring the human cost of militarization. The core value of Soldier lies in its examination of autonomy ethics and societal consequences. The film critiques the commodification of human life and the moral risks of technological enhancement. Stylistic choices, dynamic combat sequences, stark industrial settings, and deliberate pacing support the narrative, while emphasizing both thematic and emotional stakes. By merging thrilling action with ethical commentary, the story provokes reflection on responsibility and human dignity. Soldier remains relevant as a meditation on obsolescence morality and the potential abuse of human potential. Its lasting appeal lies in combining engaging action with ethical and societal reflection. 5. Dark City, 1998. Dark City examines memory, identity, and manipulation, earning its place for depicting a society where external forces control reality. The film presents a visually striking and intellectually engaging narrative exploring free will and systemic influence, making the story both thrilling and thought-provoking. A man awakens with amnesia in a city controlled by mysterious beings who alter memories and the environment nightly. As he uncovers the truth, he struggles to reclaim his identity and autonomy. Suspense builds through the gradual revelation of the city's manipulation, the protagonist's efforts to understand and resist, and the omnipresent sense of uncertainty. At its core, Dark City explores control perception and self-determination. It examines how external forces can shape human experience, questioning the reliability of memory and agency. The film's stylistic elements, noir-inspired lighting, distorted architecture, and strategic camera movement enhance both atmosphere and thematic clarity. By balancing suspenseful storytelling with philosophical inquiry, the film engages viewers in both action and reflection. The film remains influential as a meditation on human autonomy and systemic control. Its relevance endures for its combination of visual innovation and direct thematic exploration. 6. Hardware, 1990. Hardware presents a cautionary tale about the dangers of uncontrolled technology. Its inclusion stems from the story of a military robot that, once reactivated, becomes an autonomous threat, illustrating concerns about artificial intelligence and human oversight. The film delivers suspense and action while grounding its scenario in plausible technological advancement. An artist unknowingly brings a disassembled war robot into her apartment. The machine reactivates and begins reconstructing itself, posing a lethal threat. She and her companions must survive while attempting to contain the robot's destructive power. Tension is maintained through escalating danger, the confined setting, and the methodical progression of the robot's actions, keeping viewers engaged without unnecessary spectacle. The core value of hardware is in its exploration of responsibility, human error, and technological autonomy. The film interrogates the consequences of neglect and the ethical limits of engineering potentially destructive systems. Stylistic choices including kinetic editing, atmospheric lighting, and industrial soundscapes enhance suspense while supporting the narrative's thematic clarity. By presenting a technologically plausible threat within a contained environment, the story delivers both tension and reflection. Even decades later, hardware remains relevant as a warning about the unintended consequences of innovation. It challenges audiences to consider the ethical boundaries of technological advancement and the responsibilities inherent in creation. 7. RoboCop 290. RoboCop 2 intensifies themes of corporate power, societal decay, and technological intervention, earning its place for depicting a dystopian city under the influence of profit-driven authority. The film presents action and conflict, grounded in ethical questions about law enforcement and human autonomy. A cyborg law enforcer confronts crime and corruption, while a corporation introduces a replacement prototype designed for efficiency but lacking ethical judgment. Conflicts escalate as technological control clashes with moral responsibility. The film maintains tension through action sequences, escalating danger, and narrative focus on the interplay between human and mechanized authority. At its core, RoboCop 2 interrogates autonomy, responsibility, and corporate influence. It critiques profit-driven governance and the ethical implications of technology in public service. Stylistic choices, including dynamic cinematography, sound design, and visual intensity, support the narrative while maintaining engagement. By focusing on clear cause and effect relationships, the film delivers its social critique directly. Decades later, RoboCop 2 remains relevant as a study of authority, technological ethics, and societal vulnerability. Its enduring resonance lies in balancing thrilling action with insight into power and morality. 8. The Running Man, 1987. The Running Man depicts a dystopian society where media and spectacle are used as tools of control, earning its place for blending action with social critique. The film's premise of a lethal televised game challenged audiences, offering a story that was simultaneously thrilling and cautionary. Set in a totalitarian future, a man falsely accused of a crime is forced to participate in a deadly game show. Contestants navigate traps and confrontations while the government manipulates the outcome for public entertainment. Tension builds from constant threats, strategic choices, and escalating stakes, balancing visceral action with thematic focus. At its core, The Running Man explores authority, entertainment, and societal manipulation. It examines how media can influence perception and control populations, raising ethical questions about compliance and resistance. Cinematic elements, including dynamic editing and stark visual contrasts, reinforce narrative tension. By presenting a direct, high-stakes scenario, the film conveys social critique without unnecessary exposition or metaphor. The story remains relevant as a warning about spectacle control and ethical boundaries. Its enduring impact comes from combining suspenseful action with clear social commentary. 9. Enemy Mine, 1985. Enemy Mine examines conflict and cooperation under extreme circumstances, earning its place for exploring the human capacity to overcome prejudice and survive. The film presents a scenario in which entrenched hostility is challenged by necessity and empathy, delivering a story that felt unusually thoughtful for action-driven sci-fi at the time. A human soldier becomes stranded on a hostile planet alongside an alien fighter from a warring species. Initially hostile, they must cooperate to survive the harsh environment and unforeseen dangers. Their mutual dependence forces reassessment of assumptions and challenges personal biases. Suspense is maintained through survival obstacles and escalating tension between characters, blending action with ethical reflection. The core value of Enemy Mine lies in its exploration of empathy and the artificiality of conflict. It examines how shared adversity can reshape understanding, questioning the boundaries between enemy and ally. The film's cinematography, pacing, and practical effects support a narrative that balances action with moral inquiry, emphasizing both personal and societal stakes. By highlighting cooperation and ethical decision-making, the story engages audiences beyond its immediate adventure. The film continues to resonate as a meditation on reconciliation and human potential under duress. Its enduring relevance stems from its ability to combine thrilling survival sequences with profound commentary on ethics and understanding. 10. The Last Starfighter, 1984. The Last Starfighter blends adventure and speculative technology, illustrating the potential of ordinary individuals to confront extraordinary challenges. Its inclusion is justified by the film's innovative premise and the way it combines action with imaginative speculation, creating a story that felt both thrilling and plausible. Alex Rogan, a teenage arcade player, achieves a high score that triggers recruitment for an interstellar defense force. Suddenly thrust into an intergalactic conflict, he must navigate new responsibilities, develop skills rapidly, and confront dangerous adversaries. The film maintains tension through escalating stakes, strategic encounters, and character growth, balancing action with narrative clarity. At its core, the film explores destiny, skill, and ethical responsibility. It reflects on how ordinary talent can have extraordinary impact when combined with courage and circumstance. The story's visual effects, pacing, and musical score enhance both excitement and thematic clarity. By presenting futuristic technology within a relatable human context, the film makes its speculative elements engaging and credible. Decades later, The Last Starfighter remains a compelling story of empowerment and the interplay between skill, responsibility, and opportunity. Its combination of action and reflection ensures its enduring influence in science fiction cinema. 11. The Dead Zone, 1983. The Dead Zone centers on a man who gains the ability to foresee future events, raising questions about responsibility and intervention. Its inclusion reflects the film's compelling exploration of foresight and its moral implications, presenting a narrative that was both suspenseful and thought-provoking for its time. Johnny Smith awakens from a coma with precognitive abilities. He encounters situations that test his judgment, from personal tragedies to threats of wider catastrophe. As he navigates these challenges, he faces the tension between action and inaction, with moral and ethical stakes influencing every decision. Suspense is sustained through escalating conflicts and the careful revelation of his visions. The film examines choice, responsibility, and the consequences of knowledge beyond human comprehension. It explores how extraordinary insight can influence personal and societal outcomes, emphasizing ethical dilemmas over spectacle. Stylistic elements, including deliberate pacing, framing, and music, enhance tension and highlight Johnny's internal struggle. The Dead Zone balances narrative engagement with thematic reflection, presenting a story that is both accessible and intellectually compelling. The film's lasting relevance lies in its meditation on foresight, morality, and human judgment. It continues to provoke thought about the limits of intervention and the ethical responsibilities that accompany extraordinary knowledge. 12. Brainstorm 1983. Brainstorm explores the ethical and practical consequences of a device that can record and replay human experiences. Its inclusion is based on the film's forward-thinking approach to technology and the risks associated with manipulating consciousness. The narrative presents a scenario that was unsettlingly plausible for audiences at the time, combining suspense with moral inquiry. A team of scientists develops a system capable of capturing and projecting sensory experiences. As they experiment, a colleague dies under mysterious circumstances, prompting ethical dilemmas and urgent investigation. The tension builds as the team navigates the dangers of their invention while facing personal and professional stakes. The film maintains engagement through measured pacing and suspenseful sequences without excessive spectacle. At its core, Brainstorm examines the relationship between technological innovation and human morality. It questions the ethics of surveillance, the commodification of experience, and the potential misuse of advanced technology. Cinematography, visual effects, and musical cues create an immersive atmosphere emphasizing the story's tension while reinforcing its intellectual themes. By grounding speculative technology in human conflict, the film highlights both the promise and peril of innovation. The film remains relevant as a cautionary tale about the ethical limits of technology. It challenges audiences to reflect on responsibility, the sanctity of experience, and the potential consequences of scientific advancement. 13. Looker, 1981. Looker examines the power of technology to shape perception and influence society. Its inclusion is justified by its forward-thinking depiction of media and image manipulation, highlighting ethical concerns about control and autonomy. The narrative blends action with plausible technological speculation, presenting a story that felt unsettlingly close to reality at the time of release. The plot follows a plastic surgeon who discovers that models in his campaigns are replaced with digital duplicates. As he investigates, he uncovers a corporate conspiracy controlling images and influencing public perception. Suspense is maintained through escalating stakes, investigative sequences, and ethical confrontations, balancing narrative momentum with conceptual tension. The film interrogates technology aesthetics and power-raising questions about media manipulation and ethical boundaries. Stylistically, its use of emerging computer graphics, editing, and cinematography reinforces the themes of authenticity versus artificiality. Looker presents a compact, direct examination of corporate influence on human perception. Even today, the film remains relevant for its prescient insights into the manipulation of identity, perception, and choice. Its combination of suspenseful storytelling and social commentary ensures enduring resonance. 14. The Boys from Brazil in 78. The Boys from Brazil explores the ethical and existential implications of genetic manipulation. It is notable for depicting a scenario where Nazi war criminals attempt to recreate a historical tyrant through cloning. Its inclusion reflects the daring of the concept, presenting a narrative that is both thrilling and morally provocative. A Nazi hunter investigates a string of murders linked to a larger conspiracy, hundreds of children genetically engineered to resemble Hitler. As he uncovers the plot, he faces moral dilemmas and existential questions about destiny and human agency. Tension arises from methodical investigation, gradual revelation, and high stakes sustaining engagement without excess spectacle. The film emphasizes identity, morality, and the societal consequences of human experimentation. It raises questions about the ethical responsibility of creators and the persistence of destructive ideologies. Cinematic elements, including stark visuals and suspenseful pacing, support a narrative that combines thriller intensity with philosophical inquiry. The Boys from Brazil illustrates how fiction can examine historical and ethical concerns through science fiction. Decades later, it remains relevant as a reflection on the limits of science, the dangers of ideological persistence, and the moral challenges posed by manipulating life. Its enduring appeal lies in balancing suspense with ethical reflection. 15. Capricorn 1977. Capricorn. One depicts a tense story of deception and institutional secrecy, earning its place for presenting a credible yet alarming scenario. The film examines a manned Mars mission that is secretly staged, revealing how authority can manipulate truth for public perception. Its inclusion stems from the unsettling plausibility of its premise, combining realistic scientific procedure with a critique of power. 3 astronauts prepare for the first Mars mission, appearing in media and public events. Suspicious details emerge and the mission is revealed to be a hoax. Stranded in dangerous conditions, the astronauts must survive while contending with those protecting the secret. The narrative maintains tension through escalating threats and procedural realism, blending suspense with an exploration of ethical conflict. At its core, the film interrogates trust authority and the consequences of deception in the name of prestige. It reflects on the ethical dilemmas of manipulating public perception and the responsibility of institutions. Cinematography, pacing, and score enhance a mood that balances thriller intensity with intellectual engagement. Capricorn. 1 demonstrates how grounded action and suspense can carry profound social commentary. The film endures as a cautionary tale about manipulation and obedience, illustrating the fragility of perception when controlled by powerful actors. Its relevance persists as a study of human vulnerability and the ethical limits of authority. As we conclude this countdown of 15 action-driven sci-fi films that were once considered too extreme, it becomes clear that these stories remain relevant today. Each narrative explores the consequences of technology power and human choices, presenting scenarios that challenge perception, ethics, and survival. From staged missions and genetic experiments to virtual realities and alien encounters, these films highlight how speculative fiction can illuminate real-world concerns while delivering compelling action. Reflecting on these movies, consider how ideas once viewed as implausible now resonate with contemporary issues. What lessons do they offer about authority, innovation, and the moral dilemmas that arise when human ambition meets extraordinary circumstances? By engaging with these stories, viewers are invited to examine the boundaries between fiction and reality, and the ways in which imaginative storytelling can inform understanding of human behavior and societal challenges.